Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Questioner. What do you do when asleep? Maharaj. I'm just aware of being asleep. Questioner. Isn't sleep a state of unconsciousness? Maharaj. Yes, I am aware of being unconscious. Questioner. And when awake or dreaming? Maharaj. I'm aware of being awake or of dreaming. Questioner. I don't catch you. What exactly do you mean? Let me make my terms clear. By being asleep, I mean unconscious. By being awake, I mean conscious. By dreaming, I mean conscious of one's mind, but not of the surroundings. Maharaj. Well, it's about the same with me. Yet there seems to be a difference. In each state, you forget the other two, while to me, there is but one state of being, including and transcending the three mental states of waking, dreaming, and sleeping. Questioner. Do you see in the world a direction and a purpose? Maharaj. The world is but a reflection of my imagination. Whatever I want to see, I can see. But why should I invent patterns of creation, of evolution, and destruction? I don't need them. The world is in me. The world is myself. I'm not afraid of it, and I have no desire to lock it up into a mental picture. Questioner. Well, coming back to sleep, do you dream? Maharaj. Of course. Questioner. And what are your dreams? Maharaj. Echoes of the waking state. Questioner. And your deep sleep? Maharaj. The brain consciousness is suspended in my deep sleep. Questioner. Are you then unconscious? Maharaj. Yes, I'm unconscious of my surroundings. Questioner. But not quite unconscious. Maharaj. Well, I remain aware that I am unconscious. Questioner. You use the words aware and conscious. Aren't they the same? Maharaj. Awareness is primordial. Awareness is the original state. Beginningless, endless, uncaused, unsupported, without parts, without change. Consciousness is on contact, a reflection against a surface. Consciousness is a state of duality. There can be no consciousness without awareness, but there can be awareness without consciousness, as in deep sleep. Awareness is absolute. Consciousness is relative to its content. Consciousness is always of something. Consciousness is partial and changeful. Awareness is total, changeless, calm, and silent. And it is the common matrix of every experience. Questioner. How does one go beyond consciousness into awareness? Maharaj. Since it is awareness that makes consciousness possible, there is, awareness in every state of consciousness. Therefore, the very consciousness of being conscious is already a movement in awareness. Interest in your stream of consciousness takes you to awareness. It's not a new state. It is at once recognized as the original, the basic existence, which is life itself, and which is also love and joy. Questioner: since reality is all the time with us, then what does self-realization consist of? Maharaj: realization is but the opposite of ignorance. To take the world as real and oneself as unreal is ignorance, which is the cause of sorrow. To know the self as the only reality and all else as temporal and transient is freedom, is peace and joy. It's all very simple. Instead of seeing things as imagined, learn to see them as they are. When you can see everything as it is, you will also see yourself as you are. It's like cleaning a mirror. The same mirror that shows you the world as it is will also show you your own face. The thought, I am, is the polishing cloth. Use it.
Fairyland. Guru writes, body is governed by chromosomes, DNA, and RNA. The mind is governed likewise by habits. Do you know the meaning of habits? The answer is that whatever you have learned from your childhood in your mind, those things make you habits. That is to say, whatever you may have, that's your habit. You have it. You get it? Therefore, it is your habit because you have it. It's too difficult to be just what we are. The thinking mind apparently cannot remain still without any image or without a picture or without imagination. And likewise, the body and mind constantly are changing within us. Everybody has some image or picture about himself or herself. And so we live in the world of images and pictures, although we are aware that they are constantly changing. We are in the race course of beings and becomings by means of these images and pictures about ourselves and about others. Even though we understand that no image remains constant, no situation remains constant. With regard to the body, did you know that after seven years, the cells of the physical body change as well as the image of the body? Your own child is someone you may not be able to recognize after 25 years, and if it's like my child, even after 25 days. If you have not seen a child ever since childhood, you will not be able to guess that person's identity. And so body image is constantly changing from childhood until old age. The images of the mind are running very fast. Mind cannot think without any image. You cannot remember, nor can you think without an image. Please try. It is in the nature of physical consciousness that it cannot exist without image. On the telephone, through hearing someone's voice, even if you've never seen that person, you've never met him or her, you imagine that person's image almost exactly. Now, the I Am principle has no form or color. It has no design. There's no picture. There's no image of it. And certainly, it is without gender of male or female. It's neither white nor brown nor black, nor is it marked by youth or age. It remains forever young and eternal. Now, through these body and mind images and designs, we either enjoy life or suffer it. But nothing is real in any experience that we get through these images or pictures, which contain either male or female images. They are simply not real. See, for example, an actor or an actress at the same time can create many different images and pictures. So, with us, whether we are crying or laughing, the image is for that moment only. The next moment we know it will be changing. These various images or moods in yoga are called mudras, or moods. And some people indeed are very good at weeping and crying, lamentation. All the time their eyes seem to be full of tears, but just for that moment only. Now, as long as these images of body and mind are representing our consciousness, so long our consciousness is going to be the byproduct of the machinery of the psychosomatic mechanism. This consciousness is physical consciousness. It is not capable of liberating us. God himself or herself is without any image, and it is the same in the center of all beings. It is the same behind the human being, or the dog, the cat, the horse, the donkey, the monkey, and the monk, and so on and so forth. Suppose God were identified with these images of the dogs and cats and so on like us, and then in that condition, God would have remained either a dog or a cat or a monkey or a monk, and so on. Therefore, howsoever a prison might be beautifully designed with interior decorations and velvet drapes, it still will be a prison. And as long as our consciousness is identified with these images of body and mind, then for such length of time our consciousness is going to be the servant and the victim of these images. And for as long as this constantly passing show of images like movies, TV, video, they will be continuously changing until finally that very consciousness through which we perceive the world and one another, through which we perceive everything, that consciousness is going to dissolve. It will simply quit. No more. Therefore, the days are numbered, both of the body and this consciousness. And if by that time the I Am is not free from these images of body and mind, then you will pass from one species to another through rebirth and reincarnation. And you will not even know what form you're going to take, whether it's a human form or a subhuman, dog, cat, so on and so forth, monkey or monk. Now, these days, with everybody getting birth control pills or various kinds of devices, one of us, all of us, might be born as an unwelcome guest. As a matter of fact, we may be the shocking disturbances to our parents' romantic or amorous play. So, as long as we are not identified with what we really are, so long, whatever business we may be doing, we will be wandering and roaming futilely and hopelessly in the kingdom of images. And these body images are magnetic. They're filled with gravitational force. And we will not be able to control these magnetic and automatic gravitational forces, these attractions of chromosomes, RNA and DNA behind each and every body and body images, and we will be subjected to what is called destiny. Therefore, this may be called the universe of images, of TV and movies. And Guru writes, this indeed is the world of Disneyland. It is Fantasyland. It is the universe of various types of fairyland. And this charming universe of fairyland I want to describe to you by a charming story which goes as follows. Once upon a time, the most charming billows and waves of the Mother Ganga River were dotted with pearly foam. This foam was born of the leaping of fishes who were frightened by hearing the roar of waters which broke on the rugged, rocky shore. Now, on the bank of this rocky shore was a beautiful ashram. And it was crowded with holy men and sanctified women. They devoted their valuable time and lives to the performances of various tapas, various types of hatha yoga, various species of mantra yoga, all manner of laya yoga and kriya yoga, tantra yoga too, and yantra yoga, not excluding integral yoga and some forms of kundalini yoga, siddha yoga, shaktipat yoga. This does not even touch on the Raj yoga, the chanting yoga, bhajan yoga, agnihotra, and Rama yoga, soma yoga, yama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, which does not include the final trio of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi yoga. But that was not all. That was hardly all. The hallmark of the place was self-denial. People were vibrating with the ability to control themselves, self-control. Self-study went on all the time. People's eyes shone with self-study. And all were the masters of Sat Darshana, the 6 great philosophies. Everyone knew science. Comparative religion was at each person's fingertip. Fasting went on for months and years at a time. There were alternative and holistic healing methods. No one was sick, so on and so forth. And all they would live on was small sips, tiny sips, minute drops of Ganga water. And their bodies shone and flourished in a diet of just bulbs, and small ones at that. 15 watts was the most. And roots and fruits, a few berries, all were vegetarians. Their loincloth was made of bark, silent bark at that. It formed their outer garments. They were quite austere. Now the father of this ashram was named Maharishi Yajnavalkya. So one day in the early morning, after Maharishi Yajnavalkya had bathed in the sacred river of Mother Ganga and had begun to rinse his mouth, there was a little female mouse, in Sanskrit called Mousini. This little female mouse dropped from the beak of a hawk and fell into his cupped hand. So when he saw what she was, he put her down on a banyan leaf. He repeated his bath, and he repeated the mouth cleaning ritual again, and performed the ceremony of purification, because to have a mouse in your mouth is not good. And then, through the magic power of his holiness, he transformed that she-mouse into a beautiful young girl and took her with him back to the ashram. Now, the wife of the Maharishi was childless, so he said to her, "My dear wife, take her. She has come into your life as your daughter, and you must nourish her very carefully." So the wife reared her and gave her so much attention. Now, as the girl reached into her teens, the mother saw that she was ready for marriage, and she said to her husband, My dear husband, how can you fail to see that the time is passing when your daughter should find a friend and marry? Therefore you must find out a suitable suitor for her. And the Maharishi said, you're quite right, my beloved. So, if she's willing, said the Maharishi, I'm going to summon the very best and brightest suitor for her. It will be the blessed sun itself. And that's what he decided to do. And the wife said, I see no harm in that. All we need some sunglasses. So, the holy man therefore, with Vedic mantra, summoned the sun, who appeared without delay. And the son said, Sir, why am I summoned? And the father of the ashram said, Here is my daughter. Please be kind enough to marry her if she wishes. And then turning to his daughter, he said, My dearest daughter, how do you like this sun god, the blessed lamp of the whole world, that radiant being that lights up galaxy? And the beautiful young girl said, Oh, father, no, he's much too burning hot. How could I tolerate his heat? Please summon another bridegroom more excellent than he. Well, upon hearing this, the holy man, who thought nothing was too good for his daughter, said to the sun god, Blessed one, is there anyone superior to you? And the sun god replied to that austere hermit, Yes, it is the cloud. Because when the cloud covers me, then I disappear. So the holy man summoned next the god of the clouds and said to the maiden, Little girl, I'm going to give you to him. And she took one look and she said, Oh, father, not this one. This one is a bit too black and quite frigid. Can you give me someone finer than he is? So the holy man said, Oh God of the clouds, is there anyone superior to you? And the cloud god replied, Yes, the wind god is superior to me, because when he blows I am scattered all about and dissolved into space. So the Maharishi summoned the god of the wind and said, Dear maiden, I will give you to him. And she took one look and she said, Father, this one is too fickle, too nervous, too jumpy, doesn't stand still. Please invite someone superior even to him. So the holy man said to the god of the wind, O god of the wind, is there someone superior even to you? And yes, said the god of the wind, the mountain is superior to me, because even my roaring force he cleaves into two. So he summoned the god of the mountain, said to the maiden, My dear daughter, suppose I give you to him, you'll be king of the hill. And she said, Oh no, father, he's much too rough all over and stiff. Please give me to someone else. So the holy man said to the king of the mountain, Is there someone superior to you? And the king of the mountain said, Yes, sir. Superior to me is that one who makes holes in my very being, the mouse. Well, the holy man summoned the king of the mice and presented him to the girl and said, My dear daughter, do you like this royal mouse? You will live in a palatial mansion made all of cheese. And the moment she saw him, she said, My own kind! My own kind. And her young body thrilled and quivered with horripilation. Hair all over her body stood up, and she could barely refrain from squeaking. And she said, My dear father, transform me into a she-mouse and give me to him, that I may enjoy a blissful and gratifying family life. And her father, through the magic power of his holiness, turned her once again into a she-mouse and gave her to the royal he-mouse, who was king of mice. And that is why this little poem is written. Though mountain and sun and cloud and wind were suitors at her feet, the mouse made turn to a mouse again. Nature's hard to beat. Nature is hard to beat. Do you know the symbology of this? The mouse and Maharishi Yajnavalkya, his wife, the ashram, the sun, cloud, wind, the mountain, and so on, the king of the mice. Well, now this I am, says Guru, is the Maharishi Yajnavalkya, with his wife, the silent mind. And the ashram is the physical body. And the Shri mouse is the relative mind, with many educations, and the sun and so forth. They are the 5 elements. The mind, in a certain sense, is like a cow. And what does the cow leave behind? The cow leaves behind cow dung, which is the body. And the sense of I am, which is identified with the body and mind, is the physical consciousness. It is like the visible fire. Therefore, one has to do the Agnihotra so that we can burn the cow dung. In this case, the cow dung of the body has to be burned, along with all its images. Howsoever we educate body and mind, the body and mind are forever going to remain made of matter. They are material. They will forever remain under the control of chromosomes, DNA, and RNA. Now, a man or a woman will die, but the image of that person does not die from the mind. Mother may have died, or father may have died, but their images are still sitting, hovering in the mind, because in the form of image they are eternal. Now, the leaders of all religions have done a remarkable thing. They have invented some form or another of an image to represent their founder, so that by worshipping that, all other images are scourged, wiped out from their followers' minds. But, says Guru, I ask you honestly, do they become successful in removing all images from their followers' minds? Now, other religious leaders blame all Hindus for worshipping the images of various gods and goddesses in the forms of idols. But they are doing the very same thing in a disguised and confused manner. How is the mind going to worship the absolute God except by a mental image? To reach the absolute God, one has to meditate on the I am principle, beyond the limits of body and mind, so that one is able to transcend all the images of body and mind. Otherwise, we are going to face utter, total, complete, unremitting, endless, ceaseless, devastating failure. Like Maharishi Yajnavalkya, who tried to do what? He tried to transform a mouse into a girl. And finally, he had to transform that girl again into her original she-mouse form. In old age, people like that she-mouse forget their educated minds and they go back to their childhood mind, except for the very few, the very rare enlightened souls. Heaven is what? It is the mind beyond image, the imageless mind. And the mind filled with teeming images and habits and thoughts is the earth. Now, it does not mean that we should not work with images, but it does mean that after work, the mind should become again free from all worldly images. Otherwise, these images are going to continue working in our minds. How? As powerful ghosts, as unholy ghosts. Now, it should be clear that if we exist 24 hours a day in a world of images, then we will become full-fledged, lifelong citizens of Fairyland. And that is to say, our whole life will become imaginary, filled with fantasies, and we shall become robots. But if we remain as we are, that is to say, as pure awareness beyond all imagination, in the form of I am beyond body and mind, then we can enjoy the true blessings that images may bring. Images and imaginations are not without their uses. They can be weapons for creative discoveries and inventions in the relative universe. But the one who uses the weapon, the device, or the tool of images and imagination, that person should be beyond that weapon and master of it, otherwise he or she could be killed or manipulated by that device, that weapon. Therefore, to enjoy the full blessings of images, one has to be beyond all images. To enjoy running horses At the race course, you have to be someplace which is not moving anywhere. To enjoy really the creative universe, you have to be out of it, beyond it. To enjoy the sweetness of honey, you have to be beyond honey. Therefore, although the work in the relative universe cannot be done without images, and we have to be sure that creative work cannot be done without images, still, we must not be victimized by them. When you want to build a house, for example, let's assume you want to build a house. First of all, you create the image of that house in your mind. Otherwise, how are you going to build a house? So this image is called the blueprint. Now, like your house, every work has its own blueprint. The image cannot work without time and space, without cause and effect. Therefore, this consciousness of image is bound by time and space. In conclusion, Guru writes, the ultimate reality, or the absolute, is beyond all images. In that absolute, all images are dissolved, destroyed as in deep sleep. Can you sleep when your mind is crowded with images? If your sleep is crowded with images, it is called dream sleep. It's not the same as deep sleep. And therefore, in summary, we have two universes. The universe of images, bound by time and space, and the real universe. That is to say, the I am, that absolute, like the blue sky, always beyond time and space. Therefore, if your meditation is characterized or limited by any image, you cannot and will not transcend the boundary of time and space. And this fact you will understand when you're meditating on the principle of I am beyond body and mind. That meditation will happen automatically and spontaneously. For that, you do not need to read any books, because that absolute I am is, by its own nature, imageless. And Guru writes in the lessons, you are that. Tattvam Asi. Om Shanti, Shri Brahmananda Saraswati, Sarasota, Florida, January 31, 1926.
In the relative world, Guruji says, we cannot work without images and language. But when you are free, that is to say, in your own house, then you should be free from all images.
Without by the you cook almond feed.
We know when you cook a meal,
You have the food. But
you have to use pots.
after that, you have to immediately clean.
But after the cooking, you have to immediately clean them.
In him way, you cannot work without harming.
In the same way, you cannot work without image.
But you are free from the activity.
But when you are free from this
Activity.
activity and work,
So then you have to not have evil.
then you should not have any image.
Otherwise, you can't have team in your team.
Otherwise, in your dream,
Take initiative, get high,
the size
and tip,
and shape,
bringing whole team.
those images will remain in size and shape in your dream.
Any person?
Repeat that right now? Last part.
When we're involved in the relative world with our work, we need images and language.
What are you mean?
But if we do not release those,
What is my...
then they will continue in the mind, even in our dream.
Happen?
Okay. been a while since I've done my Rapid Theater in here, so it's everybody's help on this. I'd like every one of you to go inside for a little bit and find like 4 lines. It could be 4 lines of a song, a poem, preferably in English, and just be able to just say those 4 lines. It could be Mary Had a Little Lamb, it could be National Anthem, it could be... Just find those 4 lines and really be able to say those 4 lines. It's very simple. I've heard in Guruji's letters that spiritual healing is the most important part of healing. So I look at that, and of course I see meditation, I see, of course, every day the theater about I am not the body, I am not this, disidentification, because identification becomes pretty serious. That's the healing of the mind. Then we go under the mind and into the heart, and we look at emotional healing. And that's where theater comes in. Emotions can be considered like Albert Einstein, E equals mc squared, energy equals mass circumference squared. Energy in motion. It's like it moves. And in our culture, of course, emotions have just been one of those things, or it's something we work with, and usually has a lot to do with denial. Whereas with the mind, we have a lot of problem with identification. I am this, and I am this, and that. But with emotions, we have this denial thing. And so, to clean that, we have one of the highest forms of art that there is, which is theater, which all masters usually go into because it includes everything. And so the emotions are our allies, in fact. Sometimes it's appropriate to be angry. Sometimes it is appropriate to be sad. Sometimes it's appropriate to be afraid. And when we have them as our allies, rather than something to deny, then there's great power, and there's great... You can have all the theater you want. You can have Fairyland and have your cake and eat it too. So what I'd like to look at is, I think, 5 emotions. I think I would like to start with sadness. Sadness takes you to your depths. It's the deepest, one of the most blissful, in a way, emotions there is. We go to anger. Anger taken to its fullest turns into compassion. We go into fear. Fear taken to its fullest usually becomes excitement. Then we go to joy, which is very light and lyrical, and which is of great necessity to life. Then we go into compassion, which includes all of the emotions. It sometimes is appropriate, it's compassionate to be angry, sad, in all sorts of places. So, have you all found your 4 lines yet? Has anybody found 4 lines, or am I just...
I got 4.
Okay, there's one. Okay, we're going to do a little risk taking. As most of you know, with my theater, it's a little risky. I never know if it's going to work or not. The last time we couldn't even hear the words because everyone was laughing all the time. I think we'll hear the words this time. We'll take 4 lines, and I'm going to do it once. I think he'll do it once. I think Shabri will do it once. That's enough. And I'm going to say these lines in the various emotions. After a while, after you put it out there, after you take the emotions, just have it there, it's so easy to let go of the identification. It's just, oh, you know. But it's because we don't let it out. What you can't share, you get stuck with. As you just take a look at it, then, oh, it's that, right, ha. But no, my emotions, right? Okay. So I will do it once, and she'll do it once. Mary had a little lamb. white as fleece of snow. And everywhere that Mary went, her lamb was sure to go. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, her lamb was sure to go. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, her lamb was sure to go. Mary had a little lamb, fleece white as snow. Everywhere Mary went, lamb would go. Mary had a little lamb, her fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, her lamb was sure to go. Okay. Thank you. I needed that. It was awesome.